Journalist Nigel Ringland, Fitzpatrick, CEO of the Odyssey Trust. Robert, how are you?
I'm very well, Patrick, and great to meet you at last.
Good to meet you face to face. It's a fantastic situation we now have with the Belfast Giants, the way the Odyssey Trust are running. We've had Nigel talking to us about how it's the best situation the Giants have had. We look around at the updates we made, we've got the big screens behind you. How great is it to be as part of the Belfast Giants here, looking down on the ice?
It's what they've always deserved. I mean, we've been peripheral to them for the last number of years, and I mean, it's a privilege now to, I suppose, be sitting here and watching so many people come in and appreciate the investment that's been made. And it's also, I mean, a lot of that's down also to the work that, you know, the fans and the websites and people like yourself have done to keep the sort of a franchise alive. So if I can play my small part in doing what we need to do to make sure people keep coming, well then, long may that continue. Big
boos as the Brayhead clan come back on the ice. It's been an interesting game so far. There's a lot of updates been done here. Like I said, I spoke about the big screens. We've got McCools as well. What are your thoughts on the fact that people are talking about McCools and the rival they have with the likes of Rockies outside and the situation we have with the Odyssey? You know, you've got a bar outside that have been working alongside the Giants for a long time, and now they've maybe got a rival inside. Do you think that's a great thing or a bad thing, or you know, is competition good?
Well, I'm not even sure it's competition. I mean, I think the Giants have always deserved a home. I think that the McCools was an attempt to actually, in the first case, to recognise the fact that we've got a legacy here in the Odyssey that really hasn't had a home up until now, number one. Number two, I mean, Rockies do a great job. Rockies are first class at what they do. And I mean, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to come out and say, well, it's us or it's Rockies. That's not the case. McCools was set up to allow families, players, fans to go in and to essentially, you know, coordinate whether they're going to stay here, go on to Rockies, go on to a club. So, I mean, there's plenty of room for both establishments. Rockies have been a sort of a stalwart provider for years and years and years. I'm certainly not going to knock that. That's been first class. McCools, on the other hand, is another way of our organisation, my organisation, say, so okay guys, you know, you've told me, as I said to you the last time, you're a fan. Well, we're removing all the excuses for you not to be a fan now. Come down and enjoy it.
You look around the Odyssey now, you know, we look at the far end, we've got the banners hanging from the bridge, we've got the screens, we've got the McCools where we see pictures of Colin Ward and Paxton Schulte, we see the real history of the Belfast Giants. So where do we go from here? What does the Odyssey Trust want from the Belfast Giants from here going forward?
Well, I think we have to be successful on the ice and stop acting like Father Christmas and giving goals away.
It was a bad goal to give away.
It was a bad goal. No, but seriously, I suppose, you know, the Trust have always been hugely conscious of the legacy that the Giants have created. And I suppose from my perspective, I want to be successful on the ice. So I want to have the best team that we can have in Belfast. Off the ice, you know, people sometimes don't see the work that goes on behind the scenes. The likes of Todd, the likes of Taff, the work that Paul does off the ice. But more importantly, the work the players does off the ice is phenomenal. Like going out and taking time with kids in disadvantaged areas and trying to profile their status as guys who in their own way are from the same sort of background and they're now Giants. Yeah. So you know, it's a privilege and an honour to be a part of that. And as far as we're concerned, you know, the Giants really manifest sort of all that's good about, or all that should be good about sport in Northern Ireland. And the more people we can let know that, and then the more successful the organisation is, and in return, the more impactful the investment is.
So let's take you into this game tonight. You know, 3-3 against the Brayhead clan. You know, as both an owner, let's say, and a fan, how do you see this game going?
Well,
going on in the background behind us.
It's. I mean, for anybody that was coming here from the first night tonight, they're getting a cracker.
Absolutely.
I suppose for me, watching the game, there just seems to be a edginess about our play at the minute, where we seem to sort of, you know, frustrate the puck at times by giving it away foolishly, and we then do some really, really brilliant stuff that's top drawer, and you go, right, let's go, and then we don't, and then that happens.
and the Braehead clan score another goal to make it 4-3. Robert, thank you very much. It's a
My
very pleasure to be
Patrick.
doing. Pleasure to see you. If you don't get to come to the Giants games, you have to watch it either on an iPad or on your screen on your PC. And the man who's responsible for that is Ronan Smith. Ronan, Giants Live TV, how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Very good, thanks.
Ronan, you've been doing this for a number of years now. It's a really good situation you have here with the webcast. People like myself who live in Manchester, we're delighted to have it. How much work goes behind the scenes with regards to producing what you have here?
Ooh, a lot. Probably more than you would imagine. I suppose it's gone through a number of different phases throughout the seasons that have gone past. Now and again we've managed to take on even more than we had possibly should have at the time, including things like projection screens and so on. So it's gone down for us a lot this season, actually, with the arrival of the LED screens, and it's fantastic for us really, because it's taken a lot of weight off our shoulders, and obviously the power and the strength of the LED has meant that actually what we're doing is much more visible in the arena.
This season you've brought in the likes of the downloadable games, and you're trying to evolve what you have all the time. We looked at the Nerve Centre, what you had earlier on, and it's great. The guys you have here working are very passionate about it. What more can you achieve with the webcast?
I think as time goes on, the cost of production is reducing a lot, and the technology is improving dramatically, and it's becoming easier and easier to develop an exciting event.
Where does your market stand? There's people like me, Giants fans who live in England, or Giants fans who don't live in Belfast and can't make it to the game, and are happy to be part of that and watch what the guys have and what you guys have. Do we stand as your market, or are you looking to find the guys at other teams? Because we've had Braehead clan here tonight. I'm sure there's hundreds or maybe thousands of Braehead fans who'd love to see what happened here tonight. Apart from the loss, apart from the 90-second meltdown that they had, but apart from the loss. Is your market these guys, the teams coming to visit the Odyssey?
I think primarily it is the away fans, in the sense that we're giving them something, the possibility of watching what's going on here. Ultimately in the long run, really what we want to do is sell the idea that they'll come to the next game and watch it live. I know that seems kind of strange from the webcast point of view, but actually if we encourage people totally to stay at home, which on one hand we do want, but really for the team, what's better is that people come and see the game live. Did you hear that? Anyway, yes, come and see the game live, and but what we would really love is that people actually tell their friends, watch it first on the webcast, then come and see the game live, and that would keep both of us happy. Exactly.
I think though what you're hoping for, as much as the Giants are hoping for, that the away fans especially can watch on the webcast to see how great an atmosphere we have here in Belfast, how many fans we have in, how fantastic the whole ethos and how the whole atmosphere, as I said, of the Giants is, and they'll come to follow. We now have Aaron Murphy and Neil the Coach Russell and Simon Kitchen doing the commentary. It's a fantastic situation. We'll give their dues to Gary Gillespie and Wayne Hardman again, who've done it for a long time. But it's a good situation that you have here, and guys who are very clever and know their hockey, as it has been throughout the webcast.
Well, I have to commend the team that has come together over the last number of seasons. It just absolutely couldn't be done without them. There's absolutely, it is a team effort in the same way that the Giants on the ice is a team effort. I nearly said field there, didn't I? It is absolutely a team effort, and it takes a number of people really driving on a whole series of fronts, in order to deliver what we're really beginning to get a grip of now.
Okay, well thanks very much. I hope the webcast goes well, because I know that personally I enjoy it a great deal, so it's a fantastic product, and thanks very much for providing it.
Delighted.
Joining us now is Belfast Giants captain Adam Keefe, not playing tonight after incidents last night against the Dundee Stars keeper. Another season with the Giants, another C on your shirt. You must love it here.
I do, yeah. I think I was told about the Belfast and the way they supported their club one of the big reasons why I came over here, and it never disappointed. So I've had great years since I've been here. The first year, obviously, with the championship, and last year we were right there, all 3 trophies right till the end of it, and great teams, great fan support. So it was pretty much an easy decision once I talked to Todd and figured out, the way the new era is going to go.
Your passion for the game is here for all to see. When you go out there, you play with everything you got. Last night there was a bit of an incident in the corner. The referee maybe threw you out of the game, and now you've been assessed a 3-match penalty. How do you feel about that?
Oh, obviously, I'm not happy. It's not fun to watch my hockey team have to play without me, or it's not fun to watch any game from the stands. So I'm not happy about it, but I have to respect the league's decision, and just hopefully it's consistent like that all season long. 2 goals last night and a great performance early in the season. Okay, we'll cast the Coventry game aside, but 2 really good performance from the Giants early on. You've been out there with these guys at the start of the season. How do you feel this team are? Do you think it's a team that can really fight to the end of the season? Definitely. I think we're there. I think we're there with every team for all 3 titles. We're gelling well right from the start. Obviously, I thought we played well against Coventry. We just couldn't put the puck in the net, and it's a learning curve for us. I thought we learned well that game, and we took it into last night's game and kind of didn't let that goal frustrate us, and just kind of kept plugging away, and the goals came. So we just need to continue to get better every game and every week with practice, and keep building and try and stay as consistent as possible.
Did you ever get that elbow pad back from Coventry?
Definitely not, but I got 2 brand new ones. Nice Reebok ones.
Thanks, mate.
Take care.
Welcome to what was basically the nerve centre of the Giants operation. The lights, the music, everything, the webcast, all comes from this area here. And a guy who's been involved with the Belfast Giants since day one. The music that you hear, we're in Daft Punk right now, and the music you hear is controlled by this man. He's getting called on right now. Mr. Matt McIvor. Matt, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
Nah, always good, man. Always good. Matt, you've been at this since day one. You control the music here. You must enjoy it. It must be a passion for you.
Yeah, it's an awful lot of fun. This was a job to start with. I didn't know anything about ice hockey whenever I started here, and it's something that as I've been here, I've learned an awful lot about this. What's going on backstage. This is really one of my passions.
So give us an idea of what you do up here. I know it's basically everybody hears the music and then it gets cut out, but it must be a case of you keeping tabs on the game and understanding what's happening and know when to click into gear.
Yeah, that's it. Effectively, I've got a load of playlists ready for every possible eventuality. Penalties, fights, goals, whatever happens to be there. So we've got tracks clipped and ready for everything that's happening on the ice. So as soon as there's a penalty, there's that hit the road jack, all of that kind of stuff. So it's basically just prepping and getting ready and having all that stuff ready.
Is it difficult? Do you find yourself getting caught up and you look down and maybe there's a fight, maybe something you don't know where you are, you're trying to find the right piece of music?
It is difficult. If you get caught up in the emotion of the game, it can be a really difficult task to keep your head in the music and sort of find all of that stuff as quickly as possible. But it's a really good fun thing to do. It's a good DJing job anyway.
If you've been to the Belfast Giants games and you saw the opening video, you've seen the throne of hockey sticks. Let's have a look. We welcome back Matt McIvor. Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
You look very regal in your throne of hockey sticks.
Thanks very much.
You're responsible for this?
Me and my good lady Joanne Ham built this here chair out of an IKEA wicker chair.
You're ruining the whole ethos of it. Come on. No, it's a fantastic accident. How much time did you put into it?
This took about a month and a half to build. Kindly sticks donated by Mr. Wayne Hardman. Yeah. Who our viewers may know.
And I was going to say, you basically sawed up every single one of them to turn into this thing.
Yeah, we have some nice ones here. There's a sandrock right down by one of my thighs, and there's at least a couple of Colin Shields.
And joining us now is, a guy who's covered the Giants since day one. Before this building was even built, is Nigel Ringland. Nigel, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Nigel, so where does your passion for the Giants come from? You've been following this team since, like I say, before the roof was on this building.
Well, I was a big North American sports fan in sort of the 80s, watching American football and baseball and ice hockey. So when I heard about the Belfast Giants, coming to Belfast, I genuinely thought at the time it would work. An awful lot of people in my profession really didn't think it would fit into Belfast and really only give it a few months to work. But I saw that there was definitely a market place for it, so I mean, I remember meeting Bob Zeller for the first time. I remember the very first press conference that took place in a, shall we say, a local drinking establishment, and I got to meet Dave Whistle, and it was all very, you know, I remember at the time, you know, thinking that the concept of you know, one team that in the city that everybody could get behind, sort of playing in a UK-wide league, was something that we don't really see in some of our other sports. Maybe rugby would be one example where we do, and I just thought it would work, and so I've been here since before day one.
We're 13 years down the line. We're still in this building. We still get the fans coming in. The team's had its great times and its bad times. Do you think this team really has a future here, that it's really established itself in Belfast?
Well, I think the biggest compliment you can possibly pay the Giants now is that they are. Nobody thinks of them as a novelty anymore. They're just you know, a regular sporting team that plays in Belfast. You know, no special treatment. You know, no novelty factor, as I say. I mean, they're on the sporting landscape of Northern Ireland now, and everybody kind of treats them that way. And that's a big compliment to everybody who's worked so hard, as you say, through good times and bad times to make it work. Listen, as for the future, I mean, personally, I think the team are in the best position they've been in for an awful long time, being owned now by the Odyssey Trust, because if you have an owner who owns the building that the team plays in, and we've seen that with some other franchises in the Elite League, you know, you can sort your finances out, you can lay aside money, and it's, you know, to run the team, and it's in everybody's best interest. So, you know, the Odyssey Arena have a sitting tenant in the Giants here for, you know, maybe 30 home dates a year. And now that they own the team, it's incumbent that they try and make it work as well. So from a financial point of view, I think the Giants are in as stable a position as they have been for an awful long time. And that means that, you know, I think the future's bright. The team is going to be here. It's been here for 13 years. There's no reason to see why it won't be here for another 13 years and longer.
And for somebody like yourself, you know, you've covered sport from the Beijing Olympics all the way to the US Open and watching Rory McIlroy. When you're trying to push the Giants in the media in Northern Ireland, how difficult has it been over the years? It must be a case of, you know, because you're one of very few people who actually have been right behind the Giants since day one.
Well, I think that initially an awful lot of media organisations didn't really know how to treat the sport and how to treat the team. You know, was it, you know, WWE on ice? You know, was it entertainment? Was it sport? And it was a little bit of a foreign concept. And you know, I was lucky that I was there at the start. You know, and had some I guess a little bit of expertise in having been a hockey fan and watched it on the television for an awful long time. It hasn't been too difficult to push in the media. Certainly the newspapers that I write for have always been very supportive, printing previews and match reports on a weekly basis. You know, the local UTV have been very much behind the Giants for a long time. And so, I mean, actually, I think possibly there's probably, you know, maybe 8 other teams in the Elite League would kill for the amount of media coverage that the Belfast Giants, you know, has gotten over the years. Now, obviously, if there's a bad news story, you've still got to be a journalist. You've still got to go out and report that, and you know, and be objective about you know, your reporting of that. But as I say, there's a lot of clubs in this league would kill for the amount of coverage that the Giants get on a week by week basis. So once the initial success of the Giants in season 1 with the sold out crowds here at the Odyssey, and people began to gradually understand what the sport was about, ever since it's been reasonably easy to push it in the media.
So let's bring it back to the present and look at this team that are right out here on the ice. You know, the season's quite embryonic. We haven't been able to see how they've faced up against most of the teams. We had the loss last week to the Coventry Blaze. We did well against the league leaders Dundee Stars last night. How do you see this team putting together? Because, you know, it's quite a good team that Paul Adey's put together, and it's Paul Adey after all. You know, we all have our history of Paul Adey and what we believe Paul Adey in the Nottingham Panthers. And we know your love of the Nottingham Panthers.
Well, every coach that's come to coach here in Belfast, I like to think that I've, you know, no matter what their background has been or where they've been before, you know, you like to think you give them a fair chance, and certainly all the coaches, without any real exception that I can think of, you know, they've been very, 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 very good to work with. They understand. I mean, the players understand. The coaching staff has always understood the importance of PR and the importance of selling the sport and continuing to sell the sport. Hence the fact we still get crowds at the Odyssey Arena of, you know, 4,000, you know, for many of the games during the season. as for this team, I'm very excited about this team. I think actually the depth in the league has got better, and which is good to see. I don't think any team I think whoever wins the league this year will win it with double-digit defeats. I don't think that there's only going to be one team that's suddenly going to, only lose 8 or 9 games and go on to win the league. We've seen that a couple of times over the last few seasons. I think it's going to be a heck of a competitive season. We've seen teams from the other conference, like Dundee, off to a great start. Braehead as well. They're going to challenge the clubs in the Earhart Conference as well. We saw what Coventry did last week to the Giants here at home. We haven't even seen Sheffield and Nottingham, but they've both gone to Dundee and lost. So I think this is a Giants team that will compete at the right end of the league this year, as Giants teams always have done.
Oh, well, thanks for chatting to us, mate. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thanks, Paddy.
Back-to-back wins over Gardner Conference opponents, and I've got Paul Adey, coach of the Belfast Giants, with us. Paul, bit of a smash and grab right at the end there. It shows that it's a 60-minute game of hockey.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a very entertaining game, and I thought we played well overall. We created a lot of good scoring chances, and Braehead came to play tonight, and they played a good, solid game. But we never gave up. We were down late in the game and got the tying goal, and we just had that will to win tonight. I mean, then we went and found the game winner with 6 seconds left, so from Higgins, but it just shows that the character of our team, and to see that early in the season is very positive.
You had a situation after the game last night against Dundee where you were missing your captain, Adam Keefe, a key part of your third line. You had to really mix that up. How were you able to deal with that?
Well, we have no choice. You have to deal with it, and Roberts came in and did a solid job for us on the third line, and that's why we need to have a few extra guys around to fill in those gaps when we're missing guys. And he has some experience. He's played games before, so it wasn't a big issue for him to go in there. It's not always easy when you've been sitting for a few games and not playing, but he did the job for us, which is what is important, and which gets a lot of respect from his teammates, of course. So we managed it, and we're going to get suspensions. We're not going to be the only team, so we just have to deal with it and move on.
You look at the situation we had last night. We had the second and third line firing on all cylinders. Sarret with a fantastic hat-trick, Adam Keefe with 2 great goals. And maybe the first line not clicking as we want, but tonight Colin Shields some great goals. It's good to see all 3 lines over the course of the weekend firing so well.
Well, that's what's really important. If we can get that scoring from all our lines any given game, it makes a big difference. And I think you're absolutely right. All 3 of our lines have all contributed this year, and if it, from one game to another. And tonight, White Cotton's line with Swez and Shields were very good, and Shields getting the hat trick. And in the end, it won us the game, and that line were excellent tonight.
Let's talk about next weekend. Saturday, we go to the NIC, a place infinitely well, a place that your name and number hangs from the ceiling. What do you think of going to that game without your captain, and how much does it mean to you as Paul Adey, Nottingham legend?
Well, I have to put all that aside and just focus in on getting the team ready for the game, and when the game starts, just do my job as a coach. I mean, it's always nice to go back there, of course, but it's, for us, we got to go in there and try to find some points, and they're very strong at home, and they're the champions from last year in all categories, so it's a good challenge for us. We look forward to the challenge.
Yeah, good win, Coach. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
2 wins for the Belfast Giants, both against Braehead and last night against the Dundee Stars. Joining me now are Neil, the coach Russell, and stepping in for Davy McGimsey is none other than Aaron Murphy. Aaron, how does it feel to step in for Davy McGimsey, a man who you described as a great hockey mind?
He's a great hockey mind, and they're massive shoes to fill. They're Shaquille O'Neal size 22s to fill, but I'll do my best. I'll try. It's tough. The coach is here to bail me out, though.
Well, sorry, Coach. Coach, we had a game last night against the Dundee Stars, who walked in here as league leaders. A team that hadn't been beaten in 4 games, and walked away with a 5-3 win for the Belfast Giants. Tough for Jeff Hutchins to take, but a great win for Belfast considering what had happened against Coventry.
Dundee Stars are a good team. Murph and I have chatted previously about it. Dundee are a good side. Jeff Hutchins has put together a really good team this year. Their goaltending is strong. Bacala?
Scott Bakula,
yeah. We had a debate on Giants Live TV last night about the pronunciation of it. But you put a good goaltender into a team, you give yourself a really good chance of winning every night. Dundee, I was really impressed with them. The Giants came out, maybe didn't play as physical as we would maybe have hoped in the early stages to grind them down, but got there in the end and got the 2 points.
Murph, Dundee, you know, it's great to see a team from the Gardner Conference doing so well, because the whole idea of the conference system was that we develop these Scottish teams, we try to bring them up to a level, I don't mean to be disparaging, but a level that maybe the Earhart teams are fighting at, and Dundee to be doing so well is great, and they gave a good fight here last night.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mention that, because Neil and I were talking on the webcast tonight. It's great that there's no walkovers. There's a lot of parity in the league, right? And you got a guy like Dan Bacala coming in, and he was the player of the week 2 weeks running. First time it's ever been done. And Hutchie had the boys going. They're off to a 4-0 start, 4-1 after last night, but no one is going to walk over the Dundee Stars this season, and that's good for the league. The Braehead clan came in here and played a really good road game. That second period was good hockey. I just talked to Finner there, and you know, they just had a lapse of concentration, but that's a good Braehead clan team, and again, goaltending. Jones is very good tonight. We've seen Hudlowski come in here for Edinburgh and play very well. I mean, that they lost 5-0 here at the Odyssey that night, but that could have easily been a 7 or 8. Like, he's a really good goalie, so there's a lot of good goaltenders on the Scottish-based clubs, and it's going to make points hard to take from those teams.
I think Edinburgh had a great night tonight against Hull, apparently. It's good that they had Hudlowski, as you say, is a great goal.
We thought he was really impressive in that
but
Edinburgh game.
I think it really showed tonight with the game against Braehead that it is a 60-minute game, because, you know, Braehead doing so well, leading the Belfast Giants, and then sort of fell apart right at the end.
It's tough when you're on the road like that and you get the team almost to the finish line and you just can't get across the line. But we saw both teams have lapses of concentration tonight, because when the Giants went up 3-2 late in the third period, there was no way Nathan Moon should have got to the net unabated, untouched, for the tap-in goal on Murph, and that's frustrating, because now all of a sudden, with 50 seconds to go, you're leading 3-2 going in to the second intermission at home. You're feeling pretty good, and the Giants go, you know, they concede that goal to Nathan Moon, total lapse of concentration. They were already thinking about the 15-minute break, and so Moon taps it in, and it really changed the complexion of the game. Then we saw, you know, as these things happen, that's hockey, the same thing happened to Braehead late. You know, they took the foot off the pedal, and we were in the commentary box, and you could see Higgins. It was like Plinko. The puck was going, and we were looking at each other, and, you know, I didn't want to call it before it was in, but it was going in, and it was just literally a lapse of concentration in their own end. So both teams had moments like that tonight. Luckily for Belfast, they had the horses, and Colin Shields led the way out of the gate tonight with 3 goals, and it was a fantastic game to call. I'm going to need a little break on the vocal cords, but fantastic win, but full marks to the Braehead clan. They came in here and played a real good road game, gave the Giants lots to think about.
Coach, last night we had the second and third line firing on all cylinders. You know, Surratt with his hat-trick, Keefe with 2 goals. You know, maybe the first line didn't show what they are available. Well, sorry, what they had. You know, Colin Shields tonight really showed what he had.
Again, we were talking in commentary tonight, just saying this Giants team is stacked. You know, our top. There's goals, there's physicality, there's now size. We've got it all, and there's goals from every area, from every line, and it's great to see someone like Colin Shields, who on occasions, for whatever reason, has divided opinion among the Giants fan base. But to quote my
divided opinion on a view from the bridge?
On a view from the bridge, yes. And, you know, stats don't lie. Stats don't lie, and this guy, to quote my cliche, you know, the guy puts up points every single year. He's a top performer, and come up tonight with a fantastic hat-trick, and you could see almost straight away when those goals were going in, the confidence levels were just rising and rising. And Shields, to me, as a confidence player, starts like any player in any sport. If you're scoring goals, if you're assisting on goals, your confidence levels rise.
2 games on the road coming up. We got Nottingham next week. You know, they've just had a fantastic win tonight at home against the Sheffield Steelers, and then Hull, who have gone to Edinburgh and put 50 shots on Hudlowski and still not taking the win. Going into the NIC, you know, you're Paul Adey, you're a guy who knows that. We've spoke to Paul earlier about, you know, he's a legend of that place. You know, he's going to be welcomed into that barn, having left there as a legend. How do the Belfast Giants prepare? Because that's going to be a cauldron.
It's going to be tough, and we said it's tough to go in there and win without all the storylines, and it's tough to go in there and win with a full lineup. So you're going in there without Adam Keefe, who's not only your captain and maybe your emotional leader, your pound-for-pound toughest player, but he's also got 5 goals. People forget that you're missing some goals. I mean, Kiefer's gotten off to a really good start, so you're missing your top goal scorer, your leader, and there's the side stories and the fact that it's going to be, you know, maybe some drama. And Paul Adey will be pulled around. The media will want him, and there'll be you know moments where his mind will be off the game. But knowing the coach the way I do, he'll have a game plan drawn up. it won't be about him. He won't let it be about him. And they'll go in there, and it's another fixture. It's a Saturday night at the NIC, and they have to go in there prepared, or it could be trouble. You know, Sheffield saw that tonight. If you're not ready for the Panthers, you're going to be in trouble. And I think Paul Adey will have a game plan that won't let it be about him and his legendary status there. It'll be about the Giants going in there and stealing 2 points.
And I think in those types of games, I know we have said it on the podcast many times, someone like Jeffrey Swayze in a big game like that, he's a big game player. He comes to the party in the Nottingham, the Sheffield games, the Cardiff games, the Coventry games, and especially away from home as well, whenever you're looking your team to really stand up. Cauldron atmosphere there in the NIC. Minus our captain, who's a heartbeat of our team. Make no mistake about that, and we're minus him. Someone like Jeffrey Swayze will be pivotal to our success next week.
There's been a hero in all these wins, whether it was against Bolzano, Elfring being the hero, whether it was Swayze against Edinburgh. Last night it was Surrett, tonight it's Shieldsy. The good thing about that, and you said there's goals everywhere. So someone will step up, whether it's a Swayze, a Higgins. Higgins was a hero as well as Shields tonight. Watch Dustin Whitecotton have a big night at the NIC.
And one last thing, gentlemen, you seem to have had a great time up in the box, you know, doing the commentary for GiantsLive.tv. You know, at least you're well dressed, Murph. You know, this guy doesn't seem to even put a tie on.
This guy makes a living out of it. I'm just doing it as a part-time guy, just coming in, helping out and what have you. It's been fantastic working with someone like Aaron, so it really has. I've learned a lot in the space of 3 broadcasts that I've done with Giants Live. It's a fantastic production that the guys put on. I had absolutely no idea, I have to be brutally honest and say, this time last year I did not have a clue as to the amount of people involved, the amount of effort involved to put on the webcast. And judging by all the feedback that we have got and the GiantsLive.tv have got, it's been a very, very good production so far. So I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of it so far.
Murph, this is your first season up in the box for the Belfast Giants, at least.
It's been phenomenal, and whether it's Simon Kitchen or the coach and the guys behind the scenes and the girls behind the scenes, it's a fantastic group. It's a privilege and an honor. I've called KHL games, I've called World Championships and Olympic qualifiers. I can't say that I've had as much fun as I've had in the last few weeks. So that's a testament, and I think it's come across in our work because we're really excited about the games, and there's some good teams coming in here. And like I said, there's a lot of parity in the league, and as a commentator, that's what you want. You want games that keep you, wire to wire, and boy, did we see a wire to wire finish tonight, and it's been a pleasure to have Neil and Kitch and the guys on board, and privileged to be part of it.
I'm really looking forward to hearing the audio right at the end there of the two of us, because the two of us were nearly out of the box there and into the crowd. It was a fantastic finish to the
Higgins
game.
goal seemed to be slow motion, and I didn't want to call the goal before it happened, but it was phenomenal tonight.
Well, I was looking across in door 17. I didn't think Coach have had much restraint for that. Yeah, I've seen him up and on. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Paddy.
Have I got a shiny nose?
I've got a shiny head. You don't have to worry about a shiny nose.
Where's my makeup?
There's you.
Need some powder.
It is. I think it's important to have somewhere to go after the game and have that sort of chat with your friends. As you said, we have friend of the show, Martin McAllister.
Well, Marty McAllister's here in the background, sort of waving and diving out of the way. He really doesn't want to be part of it. He's just over there.
Hello. Hi.
Marty, we're just talking about, you didn't want to be part of it. We're just talking about McCools. Now, this is your first time McCools being part of this. You know, we got a lot of Giants fans here. It's great. You know, Rockies is downstairs, and we do have part of that. That's a good bar as well. But are you enjoying your time here?
I am enjoying my time very much. It's nice to see Kenny here, having a bit of fun down from, when he's not... I can't talk anymore. Stop that.
Okay, so that was Marty. And, well, anyway.
Did you hear that? Anyway, yes.